viewers, welcome to the One News.
You are still with us, Fortunaria, Henani, Anissandra, Mulia, Dewi, and
Oni Khanza. For 10 minutes more, we will accompany you to listen some bright news and some actual news,
which will provide you to the real news and which is taken actually and factually. The news for today is about COVID-19 in Indonesia.
Whether it was the first time COVID-19 appeared in Indonesia,
the learning system during COVID-19,
and how to prevent COVID-19.
Well, let's begin the news for today. COVID-19 or coronavirus disease 2019 is an infectious disease caused by a new virus called SARS-CoV-2. This disease first identified in Wuhan, China in the end of 2019. The virus widely spread over many countries and then in March 2020, WHO declared COVID-19 pandemic. President Joko Widodo said that the case of the coronavirus in Indonesia was revealed after a report of a Japanese citizen tested positive. The problem is, this Japanese citizen has just visited Indonesia. The government then immediately traced anyone who had contact with the patient. And then Mr. Jokowi said, as soon as there was information that the Japanese who went to Indonesia then lived in Malaysia and were checked, therefore corona positive. The team from Indonesia immediately investigated. The Japanese went to Indonesia who met, they were traced and bound. It turns out that the person affected by the coronavirus is related to two people, a 64-year-old mother and 31-year-old doctor. This disease affects respiratory system. COVID-19 also makes people who get infected experience several symptoms. The common symptoms are fever, dry cough, and tiredness. Some also experience aches, sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, headache, and loss of taste or smell. Meanwhile, the serious symptoms are shortness of breath, chest pain, and loss of speech. However, there are many who do not experience symptoms. It takes about 5 until 6 days to the symptom to show. However, the incubation period takes 14 days. People who have mild to moderate illness usually can recover without hospitalization. Meanwhile, those who experience serious symptoms have to seek medical attention. The virus spreads through the droplets when infected people sneeze or cough. Therefore, WHO gives the way to prevent infections such as washing hands regularly with soap and water, avoiding touching face, covering mouth and nose while sneezing or coughing, staying at home, refraining from smoking, and practicing social distancing. The COVID-19 pandemic affects many aspects of our lives, including school. Schools are held online at students' respective home. However, there is discourse that school will be reopened in July 2020 or January 2021. Many parents are worried their children will have to return to school in the near future. It is because some local governments have included plans for reopening schools in the new normal policy. For example, Central Java Education and Culture Office will enforce the implementation of the new normal in its region starting July 2020. Some options emerge such as imposing a shifting system, limiting the number of students, and implementing existing health protocols. On the other hand, epidemiologist Dr. Diki Budiman advises not to open the school until the situation gets better. He says that the school reopening is risky and it probably risks to the second wave of the coronavirus. The students can go back to schools only if the preparation is done and screening process is fulfilled. Furthermore, if the screening process is not fulfilled, schools reopening is not recommended. It is dangerous. In the end, offline school can only be done if the situation in our country gets better or zero case. Since the case is still rising these days, online school is the best option to avoid the new cluster.
Okay, in here I want to add some information related to how to prevent COVID-19 and how to teaching and learning process activities during COVID-19. Each person has a different response to the COVID-19. Most people exposed to the virus suffer moderate to moderate symptoms and they recover without hospitalizing themselves. Most common symptoms is fever, dry cough, exhausted. Slightly unusual symptoms is the discomfort and pain, sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis or red eyes, headache, loss of taste or smell, skin rash or discoloration on the finger and the toes prevention. Protect yourself and others around sorry, protect yourself and others around you by knowing the fact regarding this virus and taking appropriate precautions. Follow the advice given by local health authorities to prevent the spread of COVID-19. They are wash your hand regularly, use alcohol, bath soap and water or hand sanitizer. Next, always keep a safe distance from people coughing or sneezing. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. When you cough or sneeze, keep your mouth and nose shut with your arms or a tissue. Don't leave the house if you feel unwell. If it's a fever, cough, or breathing problem, seek medical attention immediately. Make the telephone call first to the healthcare providers can direct you immediately to the right facilities. This action will protect you and prevent the spread of virus and other infections. Wearing masks. Wearing masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from those who wear it to others. Wearing a mask was not enough to protect yourself from the COVID-19, so it had to be combined with so it had to combine but with physical restrictions and hand hygiene. Follow the advice given by local health authorities. As of this moment, the COVID positive victims are still being confirmed, which means the pandemic is not over. So with the government's appeal, it continues to undergo change and the end of the time to stay in the home study. Some students, as well as parents, have complained too much about being bored and saturated with these limited activities. Not a few students have begun to feel a drop in learning spirit to stress. The idleness the students feel can arise because of several factors, some of which are: for the first, monotonous activity. Homeschooling is risk. If they normally study at school with a variety of activities, then during the study at home, each student or child will simply follow the same routine each day. As a result, every day the child will begin to experience a decline in the spirit of learning. For the second is lone lives. Just before the pandemic, when they were studying at school, the boy would meet with his friends. Students will be pleased that by meeting with schoolmates, they can do activities together, starting with assignments, swapping stories, going to play, and so on. However, during the pandemic, the boy will have to do everything at home. Add to that the self imposed restriction on avoiding crowds or keeping a distance or physical distancing certainly adds to the awareness of every child. The child will feel that he has no friends. For the third factor is minimum home study facility. Governments give direction to the teaching process can still take place online or offline. Teachers will give assignment or material through an application that students can access. That means between students and teachers must have the necessary facilities. While governments have facilitated viewing education through television channels or TV, many other facilities are still needed in order to learn from home, such as internet connections, such as Wi-Fi or internet words connect in the smartphone. But let it let it be known, not all students own the facility. The family economy is also a factor in the lack of facilities. But let it be known, not all students own the facility. The family economy is also a factor in the lack of facilities that support home study. Not even a view of the student families who have to lose income as a result of the back COVID-19. So they must also be very careful about managing financial expenditures. Such things also eventually impact the student's eagerness to study. When the child feels that learning facilities are inadequate, he will feel that he is finding obstacles and lazy to continue the learning process. If the student has developed a decreased passion for learning, even to the point of stress, it would not be a good for the children's health. Hence, from now on, a child must be taught to maintain a healthy home study, to remain eager to learn, to avoid boredom, and to keep a closer watch. Well, viewers, that's all for the news today.
We are allowed to live for today. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.